The next one, capture specific window, league client, not capture cursor. Okay, on your screen is a draft. Let me sort out the settings really quick. Okay. Sorry for the very impromptu stream. It's all a bit of a mess. But sorry, I'll get the game up in a second. Okay. Immediately, a little bit of a scuffle in the jungle. Couple of wards put down. The usual UNL level 1 nonsense, I think. Minions have spawned. Okay, everything's set up. Thank you guys for being patient. Sorry for the scuffle with the stream, but we are now ready to get into game. I wasn't here for draft, so let's do all the usual speaking nonsense I would have done in draft if I had not been very ill. So on the side of Curry Tides, we have, well, there's some of the usual suspects. There's Riftmark on Ornn, there's Fairbon, Sivir, and which I think is an ADC, which is quite uncontroversial. And Velvet, who we don't see it very often, but I think is known for these enchanter picks. Wibbly's on the Galio, which I mean, it's not Aftershock, it's Phase Rush. I might be leaning into some AP here, but it's definitely a bit of an unusual one for someone of his kind of agency. But I can see them making it work. And then Crow's on Viego. Not something I've seen loads of times, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Viego is it's quite a strong champ right now, and you know, I'd expect Crow to be able to play it to a decent level. On the side of Racketeers, we have the titular Rack on his Shyvana, which I've got to say it's not my favourite one of his picks, but who knows? Maybe he'll make something devious happen. And then we have, almost fucking killed Riftmark though. Can't disrespect the E damage amplifier. Izzy, again, I think a sub. These aren't the usual rosters, I don't think, for in a couple ways. Not that I can remember them exactly off the top of my head. I think, yeah, not that I can remember them exactly off the top of my head, but there are some subs here and there. Izzy, I don't think is on the main roster. So is neither is Velvetti. But we're on the Gwen jungle, very similar to that Shyvana, very hard scaling farming pick. Blaze on his Malzahar mid, and I've got to say, back when this guy was a sub for my team, back on 5 Minute Break, Blaze's Malzahar was a force to be reckoned with, so I'm definitely familiar with it. Potentially on the Smolder, which I think is one of his more common ADC picks. I've got to say, I just said all that about Blaze's Mal's, but Wibbly's kind of giving him the what for. And then Rakan for Enix, which makes sense. It's a reliable support pick. Overall, looking at these rosters, I mean, I don't think they're both exceptionally strong late game. I do think Racketeers is stronger, but I do also think that Curry Tides is kind of more punishing. So there's gives and takes. Wibbly just tanked a couple turret shots for a passive auto there. One of those things you don't really see coming. Rack doing rack things. The man will stop at nothing for a demolish proc. That's for fucking sure. By the way, this is very impromptu setup, and also my OBS was giving me grief. So if anyone has any problems with the audio, volume, etc., please do just either DM me or drop a thing in chat, and I'll fix it as soon as I can. The ult comes out from Rack, very aggressive. He might actually look for the kill on Rift here. Rift Mark hit him with the banana flash. Intriguing, and Rack gets 2 turret plates. What an interesting play. I can't say I've seen that before. He also seemed like he teleported, which I suppose happens from time to time. All or nothing, and to be honest, I don't expect that to change very much in this early game. The nature of these champions does not. I mean, actually look at these lanes. All of them just clear waves. Smolder clears waves. Malz clears waves. Shyvana has built a Tiamat to clear waves. Ornn is a tank. Who cares? Galio is a tank. Who cares? And Sivir just clears waves. What an absolute nothing game. Especially with players like Wibbly and Rack, you know, you'd expect a little bit more action, but not exactly what we've been given. Hopefully it will at least lead to some really interesting late game team fights, but for now we've just got to sit tight, keep our seatbelts on, and just have a not so bumpy ride in the early game. We did see the drag go over to Curry Tides. I think that makes sense, just because obviously Viego and Gwen also quite passive junglers for the most part. Like, Viego can only really be active if his teammates are. But I think Viego does have more agency in these like early game fights with the possessions and everything, especially once he gets that 6. So it makes sense to me that he'd be pulling ahead slightly in this objective pressure against the Gwen. But one drag will not make or break a game, necessarily. We do see Enix walking topside for the grub play. Meanwhile, Seraphine is comfortably chilling down bot. They're finally looking for something here. They do have that Nether Grasp available, the Malz ult. But it looks like they're just going to be making sure they secure these grubs. I mean, it's definitely good for Racketeers. Tenshi doesn't mind being in the lane by herself. It's not like Seraphine and Sivir are the most oppressive champions, especially when you're considering risking dives, and especially not if they keep tanking these turret shots, although Crow is here to try and do something. The Galio ult comes out, the flash forward from Crow, the W lands, but he's going to ult away, but he's going to die to the turret shot anyway. First blood goes over to Smolder, and oh my god, it's a fucking disaster. I just watched the Seraphine get completely 100-0'd in 2 turret shots. And in the meantime, Gwen's going to get that topside jungle, while Smolder gets 2 kills in a 1v4. 2 kills in a 1v4! That's not very good, is it, guys? It is an absolute fucking disaster. The GGEL Classic. Hey, on the bright side, a kill onto Wibbly. If there's anyone in this server, in the whole of UNL, who's gonna pull a win from a kill, it is this Wibbly guy. And hey, I mean, a 2-for-1. It's not like, when you put it like that, it's not the end of the world, right? Right. It's not the end of the world. It's pretty disgusting though. Pretty fucking disgusting. See the Hollow Radiance coming out for Galio here. The Shyvana is a very mixed character. Gwen and Mal's both solidly AP. And Smolder's true damage late game anyway, so who really cares? He actually isn't. I think he's pretty much all physical, isn't he? He's not actually very much true damage. Either way. A lot of AP to be building that MR against. It's not a bad game for the Galio. Let's see Rack. I just want to see Rack clear away real fast. Oh, it's already gone. My bad for looking away. Ravenous Hydra, I feel like it's such a strong item on these champions. Whole lot of nothing going on around this bot side, but there is that drag to play for. I think Wibbly in the meantime probably got, yeah, plate and a half. They're going to be looking for this dragon eventually. Hollow Radiance is so satisfying. Oh, Rack holding forward. I guess you just don't care about your ult cooldown? I don't really know how that champ works. Oh my god, what a monster. Yeah, sometimes I look at this Shyvana pick and I'm like, oh, never mind, I'm gonna shut the fuck up for a second. The taunt lands onto Enix and he's just gonna get 100-0, but the Nether Grasp is there onto Seraphine. She is going to fall. Swords there in the backline, getting the damage onto the Seraphine. She is going to die as well, but the E damage from Malzahar is just too much for the Sivir to bear. She's going to fall as well. He's now onto Crow, the flash forward from Izzy, but Crow's going to burn to death as well, and Wibbly's now left in the 1v2, and he's going to have to run away. Izzy's not going to be able to catch him, but that is a 3. That was a 3 for 1. No, a 3 for 2 for the side of Racketeers, and it does secure them the dragon, which makes sure they keep a distance away from that soul point. In the meantime, Rack just stole their Gromp and is now got a bit of a flank on the Ornn here. I'm not sure how much damage it does and whether or not this is going to be a kill, but I guess we're about to find out. Has the ult available in a second? The ult's there from Riftmark, but the CC from Shyvana puts herself behind him, and it's going to be a dead Ornn. Crow is here to try and clean something up, but W's not going to land. And does not have the ult available to finish the job, the Heartbreaker. Just had to hover over that to check it. I main that champion, by the way. It's okay, I do know Noxie and Guillotine. That is first turret over to Shyvana, over to Racketeers, which does leave them with feats. They are pulling firmly ahead in this game, and I just don't think a character like Galio is going to have the carry potential, especially not against a Smolder. Like, what are you going to do against a Smolder, realistically? A little bit of a fight here in the mid lane, but Crow's not going to get there quite in time. I mean, looking at the game state right now, I'm definitely starting to favour Racketeers. Like having a Smolder and a Gwen and a Shyvana, which are being given the opportunity to, frankly, just scale as much as they please, is a real recipe for disaster. Especially when they're not only scaling, but some of them are actually pulling ahead. That smaller W somehow didn't hit. Riftmark E's forward to knock up the Shyvana, and there's a follow-up from the Viego, but I don't think that's the play to be making, guys. And Crow's going to fall first. Not going to get the reset in time. Rack96 is just living on nothing but the flash forward from West. He does eventually find the kill with the auto attack. Enix is forced to flash away but going to die to Velvetti's E anyway, and it actually ends up being a 2-for-1 in favour of Curry Tides. I thought that was doomed for sure, to be honest, but found a way to make it work. This is kind of what I mean about that Shyvana pick. I don't really know why anyone would play it. Unless it's just like unless it's like randomly the best thing in the game. I just feel like in a situation like that, there's so much less, and you know, Renekton, even Trundle. No, I again wasn't there for draft. I'm sure these champs were banned, but point being, I feel like there's got to be, you know, something else you could play. I don't think it's necessarily doomed for Curry Tides. I mean, the Viego special is just getting a few resets no matter what and finding a way to win a fight, right? But I just think it's going to be challenging to find picks onto the... they don't really have a tool to find picks onto a Smolder or a... or even really a Malzahar. The Ornaut's the best they can really do. A bit of a scrap there in the mid lane earlier, but nothing was really committed. Blazigus walking into a rock and a hard place here and is going to fall, but the Seraphine presses ult and gets the kill, which is very strange. I don't really think we needed to be pressing ult there, and it's definitely not great to be taking that shutdown away from your Viego. Racketeers are going to trade back mid turret with that Herald available to them. Oh my god, that Shyvana damage. Is it gonna kill? Oh my god, it just kills! Dude, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand. I just don't understand it. Either way, Racketeers found their advantages after the Malzahar getting caught down there in the bot lane. The Smolder ult is thrown while Crow is hitting the dragon. Racketeers are there in time to do something about it. The ult and the flash away from Crow, but the slow is there from the from Needlework, and another support getting another kill. But this does guarantee the dragon for Racketeers. Yeah, another advantage they've gained in the last couple minutes. Why does Ornn have 0 armor into Shiv? I mean, there's a Bramble Vest there, man. He's working on it. Next real objectives to play for is Atakan in the bot lane here. I mean, Racketeers are just so difficult to beat right now. You can have a little stack check on the Smolder. He's sitting at a cool 148. Which is actually slightly less than I thought he'd be at. But to be fair, I don't really know how far Smolder's supposed to stack nowadays. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised if Atakan is comfortably going to be going over to Racketeers. Rack is top lane. applying his infamous pressure while having that TP available if he's needed in the bot lane. And Wibbly is playing for that zone control. Sivir is trying to respond to this mid push, but we'll see if anything's going to come of it. Rack pops the ult, which I understand gives him a lot of pressure in this side lane, but does mean he doesn't have it available if his TP is needed. Izzy finds Feb and Velvety on the jungle there, but the Galio ult is going to come out. It's somehow blocked by Gwen immunity. The flash forward from Izzy, the Q on Feb is going to almost kill him, not quite, but Velvety is going to die for his sins. Crow's going on to Enix in the backline. Is he going to find the reset? He is, and Izzy's going to fall to Wibbly himself. So far, it's actually a 2-for-1 to the favour of Curry Tides. The W and ult forward from Crow, the W lands, the damage is there, the Kraken Slayer is popping, and Wibbly potentially is going to fall as well, and somehow Racketeers get almost aced. What a strange fight. Well, Racketeers did get their dragon. The TP comes out from Ornn here. That's meant to save that wave. Save that turret, rather. I mean, it's just such a farm heavy game. So much CS. You know it's bad when even Rift's looking at 9 CS per minute. Sorry, that was toxic. And yet another ult on the side lane from Rack. And he's gonna hit that turret. By God, if there's one thing you can be sure of, if there's 3 things you can be sure of, it's death, taxes, and Rack hitting side lane turrets. Wibbly, though, actually responding with some turret hitting of his own. Both trading their outer turrets on respective sides of the map. Rack just absolutely decimates those Crocs. Rack is sitting at a cool 12 CS per minute, by the way. Let's not forget about that. That is ridiculous. He has certainly been hitting waves this game. I guess that's what Ravenous Hydra does for you. Taking a little gander at Smolder. Now sitting at 190. Not far away from his famed 225 power spike. The ult is popped by Sivir. The E comes forward from Galio, but the Taunt isn't going to find Malzahar. He's going to flash out of it. No minions means they can't get the turret either, and they just committed a lot of summoner spells for nothing. See if Racketeers can do anything about it. If nothing else, they're going to get this dragon, and that puts them on the soul point. Meanwhile, they didn't kill Smolder, Malzahar, or the turret for the investment of 2 ultimates before an important objective. Racketeers really are laying on the hurt right now. Bit of a slow part of the game, which I'm sure the Smolder isn't complaining about. Phoenix might be a little bit out of position here, but never on Rakan. Oh, the flash forward from Galio, but the E isn't going to find its target. I'm sure he has a W coming up any second. The ult is there from Seraphine, going to find the charm, but there's a lot of healing. Is eventually going to fall. The flash forward from Krog, managed to get the reset, but he's going to get Malzahar ulted. Isn't going to die, though. Is going to survive. Velvet's going to die to Racketeers in the backline, though. And Wibbly is now stuck between 3 people in a hard place. Does get the blast cone, but Izzy comes with him. Is he going to be able to live? Not quite. And my fucking game just crashed. We open it again, we'll see Viego resetting right next to 4 people, and it ends up being a 2-for-1 to the side of Racketeers. A really aggressive flash forward from the Galio. And that is going to be his first death of the game. It's kind of hard to pin down where exactly this game went so wrong for Curry Tides, but a couple too many deaths at the wrong time. They do find them on the Baron. I think they might do something about it, but Feb is going to blast cone himself into 2 people. They prevent the Baron, if only temporarily. Rack's playing the zoning game. They have no ADC, and Smolder is now rejoined in the fight. Crow's not going to be given that chance to steal. Shyvana is making sure of it. Well, then again, he has done a little loop-de-loop. They might have vision of it. Is he going to get the steal? He is! Crow finds the steal, and that's Baron Nashor over to Curry Tides. Enix almost going to fall, but not quite. He's going to make it out with his life. Needlework comes out from Izzy, and they are going to find Seraphine. Wibbly might be caught out as well. The phase rush does proc, but Smolder is there with the E and the damage forward, and the burn is there as well, and the Gwen damage is just a little bit too much. Crow does get the steal, but it does not come without costs. And Feb was dead, which means their only Baron, I think, is actually on Riftmark. But how much an Ornn is going to do into this Gwen and this Shyvana is, and this Smolder is definitely up to question. Out of curiosity, who is the Racketeers' usual jungler? It's Chop the Farmer, isn't it? Yeah, it's Chop. Oh wow, and the team is still... Chop's been was really magnetic, quite uncompromising in those 2 games they played last Sunday. So them finding success without him is quite a victory. Oh, you're right, it's Judgy. I'm thinking Chop because Chop was jungle last week. Yeah, you are right. I thought, yeah, I don't know if that role swap is, if it was permanent or not. Either way, Granny Spanner, you're always on an old patch. Sorry, that was unnecessary. I mean, Rack does just love pressing this ultimate. Gonna find that turret. Crow is there for potentially the kill. The Ornn comes out, it's going to connect with the flash forward from Rack, and he is just going to... Oh my god, never mind. The missing health damage from the Heartbreaker is just enough to finish him off. It really looked like Rack was about to completely massacre Crow. I mean, he did, but he just managed to get out with his life, just barely. And that is a dead Shyvana before Dragon. Might finally be Curry Tides' chance to get something, but I don't know. The Gwen and the Smolder are still forces to be reckoned with. Curry Tides do manage to finally secure a dragon. Denies the soul from Racketeers, at least for now, but Racketeers do trade back that quite central inner middle turret, so it's not for naught. And there he is, the man, the myth. Returns to side lane once more. Has Izzy's cover. There's just so much anti-siege. It's really hard to push these waves aggressively. February 14th might be caught out here, doesn't have the ult available, is going to flash, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. The Needlework comes out, although the Galliot is there in time, but Brack is there in the backline, going to find February 14th, going to find Viego shortly afterwards. Wibbly is going to just barely make out with his life, but Riftmark might not be so lucky. The E4 from Izzy, the flash will shoot soon after, and the autos are going to connect, and Riftmark is going to fall. Velvetti arrives just a little bit too late, and the ult doesn't find enough damage, and it is going to be an absolute destruction of Curry Tides here. Wibbly's going to do what he can, but what he can is unfortunately not going to be enough. And that is a swift and decisive end to game 1 of the day, and a swift and decisive victory for Racketeers.